Hello, everyone. Welcome to Silent Hill Symbolism live discussion. Hello, Daniel, Faku, the nerdiest girl, Annalise, Julie, Dot, Xavier, Elfin, Jeff, Billy, Odd Molly, Hobbit Potato, Lobsoul, Corey. Lots of folks today. Thanks for joining us. Once again, we're diving into the story and symbolism of Silent Hill. I realize there hasn't been a finished essay video, but there will be one soon, hopefully. My editor is a little behind at work, but a good one is coming. Until then, we'll continue to do the live discussions. Hello, Helena, Candy Dreams, Min. Thanks for joining us. This week's discussion is on the Hillside Apartments, which are a location in Silent Hill Downpour. This was a request from a patron. Thank you so much for your support. And we're going to dive right into talking about the level and its secrets. Hey, Faku. Hey, Wendell, Hoverfly. Welcome, new folks. Thanks for joining us. So for those who don't remember, the Hillside Apartments are a very short level, if you want to call them that, in Silent Hill Downpour. When you first enter into the town of Silent Hill, you go into the hillside area, which is a bunch of houses, a cul-de-sac, and eventually you find a house where you climb up a ladder and you walk across these wooden planks, across an abyss, into what is called the Hillside Apartments. It's not even really a level, because there's no puzzles, there's no monsters. You can very easily simply walk into the apartment, go down the stairs, and exit, and you are moving on to the next part of the game. It's very, very short. What it has, for the most part, is a side quest, which is completely optional. One of the better parts of Silent Hill Downpour are all of the beautiful and incredibly haunting side quests. The one in this level is itself also incredibly short. This is a very much sort of just like a taste, a dabble in some of the themes and imagery of Silent Hill Downpour, but it's a neat little bon mot. When you first walk in, you climb in through a window, go through a bedroom, and enter into a kitchen of this abandoned apartment. All these apartments, of course, are abandoned, though some of them have their own decorations. And immediately we have the radio come on, and this is one of those moments where the DJ Ricks, comes on the radio and says, hey, this is a song for Murphy. Everybody's calling the radio to talk to give songs to Murphy. Well, here you go, buddy. I hope one day I meet you and I learn your secret. And then it starts playing a song. The song is, if I pull this up here, Anna Tiernheim, Words of Love, and it actually plays in two places in the apartments. It plays when you first come in, and it plays when you explore another apartment that has a radio on. Poor Jeff is confused. I believe that yes, that is Helena, not Billy, which is possibly why Helena is a little confused. But hi, Helena. So this song plays twice in the apartment. DJ Rick says that it was played for our hero. I think it can also play and be possibly connected to the main side quest that's in this level. The lyrics of the song, the song is called Words of Love. The lyrics are, words of love sent by you, any way you get them through. Words of love trouble me, feels like someone's watching me. Loving hands around my throat. Bob, what are you speaking of? Sounds like panic in my head. Tie the strings and I play dead. It's a very somber love song. Multiple lines referencing being killed or being choked. Down here it says, I've erased every line you wrote. Words you stole, my quotes of love. Paper pins overflow in my head and on the floor. All around me, speak about you, always find me to remind me of you. It's a very creepy love song, and it kind of implies that the character, the singer, is dead, which ties into the side quest that we do. The side quest in this house involves a specific apartment where you enter in, and there's a note on the door from someone else in the apartment. And it says something like, "You junkie, stop stealing my stuff, or I'm going to call the police, or I'm going to bring my 12 gauge and I'm going to get you." Threatening this guy, implying that he's been stealing from people in the apartment, and that if he doesn't stop and return what he's stolen, he's going to be attacked or possibly murdered. When you go into the apartment, you find a man hanging from a noose from his ceiling, and the guy looks remarkably like Murphy. Kind of a tie-in back to Silent Hill 2 and how many of the corpses in town looked like James. This corpse looks a lot like Murphy. And it kind of implies that he was threatened. He was a thief, possibly addicted to drugs. He seems to have been very poor. If you examine the room, it's one of the messiest apartments in the building. His bed is really threadbare, and that fireplace has a big burning fire, but what's burning are books. He is clearly not doing well, not being able to take care of himself. He is possibly what happened in this scenario, given that when you examine his body, you see that he is killed. You can move his bed and find the things he stole. So it seems to imply, given the letter in his body, that he stole some things in the apartment. Someone caught him and threatened him, and he was too ashamed or too afraid to own up and return what he'd stolen, that he took his own life. The quest involves taking the items he took, returning them where they belong, and setting the spirit free. The items are a gold watch, a piggy bank with coins in it, a World War II medallion, and a locket, all of which imply a certain amount of worth. A gold watch, a bank that has money. Clearly, these are things that were stolen due to desperation because he doesn't have any income. He doesn't seem to have had any money. And again, the shame, I think, is what kept him from owning up and returning the things. Possibly shame and the feeling that he had no other option. You return the piggy bank to a little kid's room that has this disco ball, and the bank has this cute little blue elephant. And when you walk into the room, you'll hear a little girl or a child crying. You put the item back, and then you hear this joyous laughter. That happens every time you return the items, kind of implying that even though we don't see bodies of these people, there's some kind of imprint or memory of the sorrow of losing the item there, and returning the item heals that wound. And so you're kind of healing the wounds of these people that lost things. And once they've all returned, you return a locket to a box that's in one room, and then the next room over, you return the watch, kind of possibly wife and husband. You return the World War II medallion to a room, and I think that possibly that World War II, implying they were a former soldier, that might be the person that threatened our guy, since he said, "Return what you stole from me." I think that might be the person that threatened him. And once you return him, you return to his apartment and find the body has gone and the clothes are on the floor. You can wear the clothes if you'd like. I typically don't. But it kind of ties Murphy to the character, because you're now wearing the clothes of this former criminal. And it also implies that the guy's spirit is free now. And this is just one instance of Murphy acting as a kind of a judge and jury, passing judgment on other characters, but also in doing so, helping to set them free. He has helped all the people involved in the situation because he has helped to heal the wounds of those who got things stolen from them. And he helped the person that was the thief who had killed himself out of so much sorrow. So everyone has kind of been healed by this. It ties back to the fact that his story is about how he passed judgment on someone and it had consequences. And yet, even though it had consequences, and sometimes the game talks about, is it right that he did this? All the side quests reinforce the idea that he is allowed to pass judgment because he keeps doing it. Is that because the game's trying to make him see what he's been doing? Or is it because the game thinks that he's not wrong to have viewed these people as bad? There's open-ended views to this. You can kind of look at it from different ways. Either the game's trying to make him realize what it is he's been doing, or possibly he is doing the right thing by judging people. I mean, he puts all these spirits to rest. There are other instances where he does something very similar. in far more grotesque scenarios, like the house with the paintings and the ghost that tries to get you. It's really interesting that the side quests all seem to have the same thing in common with what he did, even though the game as a whole is probably condemning what he did, or at the least how he did it. So let's take a look here. There's a couple of other little things about the apartments. There is a painting in one room that has to do with the painting side quests. It is called Wonder. It is of a grotesque figure with a melting face and limbs holding an infant. It is hanging over a wall with a rocking chair in front of it. The rocking chair is rocking, and that same song, Words of Love, is playing in the background. When you take the painting, the rocking chair stops rocking. It's a very small and eerie scene. It doesn't really tie into anything, but it's just a nice little detail. It's one of the things I love about Downpour, where there's so many very small details that show that they were really thinking and trying to create something very in-depth and very beautiful and haunting, even when possibly, they were rushed for time and weren't always able to go in deep and do what they wanted. You have these little moments that are really haunting and lovely. It is a short level. There's not a lot more detail to talk about, but it's neat what is there. It is a connection. I thought was interesting the fact that the first time we have apartments in Silent Hill is Silent Hill 2, and you pass through the apartments, Blue Creek, I think, to Woodside to get to a new area of town. This is the exact same. You pass through the Hillside Apartments to get from Hillside to Pearl Creek, and don't actually really do much there in the apartments themselves other than the small side quest. I believe there might be a few items in drawers, but other than the painting, there's really nothing that major in that level. When you leave, you actually run into the mailman again. You can see in front of the door of the apartments, there's all these letters on the ground, kind of implying he's been delivering mail there for a long time, and no one's been picking up the letters. And of course, Murphy opens the door and he, oh man, you scared me. Why'd you do that? And they have a conversation about the next level that Murphy's going to have to go to, because that's basically, the mailman shows up to kind of point him in the right direction to wherever he needs to go. So it's a very short level. It's a very nice little detail. My favorite thing about Downpour is all those little details, so that you can just walk through this very beautiful town and find all these little things tucked out of the way. They're not even, necessary, not important to the plot, but they're haunting, and they're there, and they're a nice little treat to find when you're just exploring the game. That was the level that was requested by the lovely patron who supports this channel. Thank you so much for your support. If anybody has any questions or things they'd like to discuss, we'll take a few minutes to discuss some Silent Hill symbolism before jumping into today's stream, which will be Silent Hill 4, because it has been released on GOG. You can now play Silent Hill 4 on PC for a very affordable price. I'm so excited. Have I done symbolism for the mailman? I haven't. We've discussed him in the past. He is a troubled character. I think the role is not necessarily an issue, but the type of character is, and they could have done it a little differently, but, it's not the worst thing Silent Hill's ever done, I guess. Let's see. I always thought the mailman was a messenger to help Murphy. That's definitely what he is. That is quite obviously what he is, which is some of the problem. Let's see here. Oh, thank you, Jonathan. I'm glad you liked the video. And hello, folks popping in. Phil, Kevin, Yojimbo, Don, thanks for joining us. Does the cult of Silent Hill 1 and 3 have any specific resemblance with anything in real life? Nothing that comes to mind or that I can really think of off the top of my head. I mean, there's the, we've discussed the cult, I cannot remember the full name. There was a, kind of a hippie commune out west in the United States that tried to turn local elections by poisoning salad bars and making people so sick they couldn't go out and vote so that they could vote their own people in. A little ridiculous, but that's kind of a real world instance of a actual cult trying to do bad things. For the most part, Silent Hill is incredibly fictionalized. You're not going to find a lot of real world connections. The Hillside Apartments are also a metaphor on the hikikomori phenomena. I think you can tie it to that. There's not a lot going on there, I think. The Golden Dawn and Thelema would be closest. Maybe, but I don't think they, like... I feel like they just wanted to, throw their raucous parties and do their own thing. I don't think there's an aspect of the Silent Hill cult that's very much wants to convert others and, like, can take over the world and make their goddess spread pain to everyone, that I don't think the Golden Dawn was that interested in other people. Let me scroll up and see. Every Silent Hill has a kid in it. Yeah, typically, which makes sense given that they are often symbols of innocence. 2 has bigger emotional ties because of Angela. 3 is a better survival horror game. That's a fair opinion. I think 3 is really, really good, even if I think the story is somewhat hindered by the fact that they felt they had to make a direct sequel. I love all of them for different reasons, honestly. Each one is special to me. Even the ones I enjoy less. But Downpour is, the game we've discussed today, is very special to me. It's the first Silent Hill I got to play as it first came out. Like, I bought it the week it came out and played it then. Bye, Helena. Thanks for joining us. 7 Devils in Scientology. I don't know enough about them, but you probably are right. That's probably the closest real-world example of a Silent Hill cult. Have I read the Silent Hill comics? Yes, most of them. And most of them are... you can miss them. You could probably find better Silent Hill fanfic. Was there a deleted Japanese enemy? There was a Japanese enemy that was censored. I don't think it was actually in the US. I think it was in Europe and maybe Australia. There was a monster that looked a lot like a child, and not everyone was into that. I think Japan actually might have changed the monster as well. America didn't care. We got the normal monster. But that was in the first game, I think. What are my opinions on Shattered Memories? It's the only Silent Hill game that I've only beaten once. I had it on PSP in college, and eventually sold it because I was in college and I was broke. But I really enjoyed it. I had issues with its execution, but I thought it was a really unique experiment. If you want to know more, the Silent Hill Historical Society puts out the Voices in the Static podcast, and they just recently did a episode on Shattered Memories, and I was invited to discuss the game, and it was quite a lot of fun. So check out Voices in the Static. I've been in a couple of their episodes, but the Shattered Memories one just happens to be the one that I did recently. I don't know if it's been published yet. Probably not, because I think I would have gotten a notification, but it should come out this month. Let's see. Do I love that there are Lovecraft elements to Silent Hill? For sure. I mean, the idea of the horrible unknown in outer space or below the ocean, or... yeah, I really love that kind of stuff, and you see a lot of versions of it out there. Silent Hill, I think, doesn't quite do it as much as some works, but there's enough of a hint there that it is fun. It's fun to imagine. I have not played Silent Hill Book of Memories. It's the only one I've never played at all. I have no knowledge of it whatsoever. But I will try it at one point. I guess I haven't played the phone game, or what's the visual novel. I can't remember what it's called, but it's on the PC now. It's a older, like, reimagining of the first game that I'll have to play at some point. Hello, Tintins. We can keep doing some questions if folks want to keep throwing them out there. Maybe another few minutes, and then we will jump into Silent Hill 4. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Lovecraft has had a huge impact in Japan. Honestly, a lot of my favorite interpretations are Japanese. I love Japanese interpretations of Western media. It's always very, very interesting. As I'm sure you all know, because I've been talking nonstop about Hideyuki Kikuchi's vampire novels. Will I tell your kitty to stop tasting your arm? No! Kitty love human flesh. Don't shame him. Ooh, you're playing Hades while watching this? Well, welcome, Hunter. I want to play Hades so bad, but I spent this month's video game money on Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town. I regret nothing. I have a beautiful farm full of cows. They're happy and fat. I love those games. Let's see, Annalise. The cult has been dead since Silent Hill Homecoming. Yeah, I think that is official game canon, that in Silent Hill Homecoming, the last remnants of the cult were destroyed, and that's kind of it. Which I liked that aspect of Downpour, where it seemed like it was the town that was the enemy, and not some cult member in the background messing around with things. I think that there's a lot more to explore there. And I wish we'd gotten more Silent Hill games like that. But who knows, with the way Konami's been lately, bringing all this Silent Hill stuff to the fore, maybe we'll get a nice, pleasant surprise one day. My thoughts on Medium. So yeah, there is a horror game called Medium coming out that I think Akira Yamaoka and Mary Elizabeth McGlynn are involved in. I'm tentatively excited. I think it sounds neat, and I would like to try it. Check out a manga called Fuan no Tane. I'll have to look that up. Played Silent Hill the arcade. I watched a playthrough, if you want to call it that, of it. Since I don't think... there may be a way to download it off the internet, but I've never looked it up. Any thoughts on the secret screwery Kojima put into Silent Hills? Not a lot. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist with all that, but I did enjoy PT. I have a let's play, since it wasn't done live, of the game in the Silent Hill playlist. Have I ever played Dark Souls? No! The closest I've come to those are the Bloodborne game. I almost said that like it was part of a series. The Bloodborne game. Singular. Which I also streamed a couple times. I'm very bad at it. I am not good at those games, but people seem to enjoy watching me fail at them, so maybe we'll do that again one day. Silent Hill Arcade is so campy. I love it. That's great. Oh, man. Ashley, well, thank you. I'm glad you like the videos. I know there's been less of this lately because I've been busy with a lot of family stuff going on, and I also brought in an editor to make it more official, and he's been busy with family stuff, but, they will always come out eventually, even if it takes a little while. I mean, there was a while there, for those who've been around long enough to remember, where there was like a 3-year period between any of my videos. When I first left college and got my first real job, and really what made me stop was my laptop broke. I didn't have a video editing software. But yeah, that's this week's topic. I could ramble on about Silent Hill forever, but we should save that possibly for this Silent Hill game stream. So thank you all for watching. If you like what I do and you want to support it, please consider becoming a member of Patreon or YouTube. For as little as 99 cents a month, you get extra bonus content, I read things like poetry and research books that I'm working on. I do extra discussions of things, like I've got to finish working on the Taoism one, which took way too long. Quite a lot of extra content, extra essays and fiction and nonfiction that you can read, and you get to vote on what games I play, what books I read, all kinds of stuff. You can also pre-order my Silent Hill 3 book, or order my books on Silent Hill 1 and 2 if you've not done that yet. They're still discounted on my website, links in the description. And you can also read excerpts. The first chapters are free, I believe, of the first and second book. Follow me on social media. Join the Discord to hang out with some cool folks and be kept up to date on events and things. There's a lot going on this month with Halloween. I'm reading horror stories, we're watching movies together, we're playing spooky games, all kinds of stuff. Is there a Blue Creek apartment video? You know, I don't think there is. I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure I have not done that one yet. But yeah, I think that's all the news. Thank you all so much for your support. That is it. I will be back in probably about 30 minutes. We'll say 2 p.m. EST, and we're going to stream Silent Hill 4 on hard mode, because I've never tried it. We'll see how that goes. Thanks again for watching. Thanks to all of our members, Handsome Ratch, Daniel, Jeff, Phil, Billy, let's see who else was here, Min. You're all amazing. You allow me to do this ridiculous thing that I do here and keep the channel going. So thank you so much for the support. I love you all. And I will be back in just a bit for Silent Hill 4. Bye.